So how about this one from Yogi Berra? A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore.
Yeah, inflation. Holy cow.
That is what that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's talking about.
Doesn't that take that long for a dime to be worth less than a nickel? Basically, if you haven't addressed inflation, that's the problem. A lot of these plans, we have people bring in plans that they got from other advisors or their current advisor. Maybe they're working with somebody like, Brian, I heard you on the radio, want to come in and we want to talk about all the other stuff. And, they bring in, this is what our plan was from our Wells Fargo guy or Edward Jones, and they plugged in some pre-formatted software that spit out a number. And I'm like, oh, that's good. And I look at the metrics at the bottom. Nobody ever pays attention to it because it's not that important to them. But for me, I want to go, what's the inflation number they're using? They're using like 2.5%.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You really think it's 2.5%? Your numbers are going to look really beautiful at 2.5%.
Oh, yeah.
Because if your expenses are, let's say, $5,000 a month, it's over 30 years it takes to double your expenses.
Yeah.
Versus inflation is really doubling every 10 years.
Eggs only went up like 1%, didn't they?
Yeah, it was 0.5%. Well, if you just, raise your own chickens and don't feed them any feed and just live them off the land, then you don't have any costs.
You're
free.
a diplomatic guy. You are the consummate diplomat. It's got to be tough for you not to tear those things apart when people come in and go, here's what I got from this planner or this financial person. For you to look at that, because I know you've got to be going, what have they done to this client?
Well, they say they have enough money, when they have no pension, they have no barely any Social Security because their wages aren't that high, or maybe the wife isn't working, right? And the cost of their living is out of control. Like, they are spending too much because you can just tell they're not saving as much, right? If it's not there, they're spending. I don't need to ask, let me see your detailed budget. I already know that you're spending it because you would have saved it somewhere. It would be in your checking account or your savings account.
We'd see it. Yeah.
Right? And, at your age at 65, $300,000 without a good secure income source is not going to do it. Even $500,000 a lot of times is the way you're spending it. You're going to be broke in 10 years. And so...
or less.
And so but if you play with a 2.5% or 3% inflation number versus what it really should be at 7%, my report isn't always so pretty for folks.
But is 7 the realistic?
It's the real number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying long term.
Yeah.
There's a company I used to buy their newsletter for years, and it was just kind of a waste of money because it was like the end result was the government is lying, and we're like, oh my goodness, what a shocker! Why should we pay $1,100 for this thing every year to say that? But he's got some real stats on there. You go to shadowstats.com. And you can see the real CPI, the inflation, all the unemployment numbers, the way that they used to track it when the government was a little more honest. So back in the 80s, they had more accurate numbers. And when you look at the way they used to track it with current numbers, right, with current inflation data, it's an average of about 7%. And we're actually over 15%, like 16% basically. So that's more realistic because, come on, you and I both know it's over 15%.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just go to the store.
Yep. That's what I was talking about. Eggs, milk, everything is sky high.
Right, everything. Every time I get an email on like an annual or a quarterly subscription, it's, oh, by the way, we have a price increase.
Yeah.
On everything.
Dude, I'm eating
it's
every
not just
ounce
food.
of leftovers. All of it. Ramen noodles, I'm in. Bring it.
What'd you say about ramen noodles?
Yeah.
You're eating ramen noodles? How old are you?
I'm eating all my leftovers. I'm just saying.
You're going back to ramen noodles.
I'm adjusting for inflation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm adjusting.
You need a second job or something.
866-2PLAN-4 is how you reach us. 866-TO-PLAN and the number 4, or you can find us online at retirementplannow.com.